Hello and welcome, I'm Mystical, this is Mystical Gaming. We're back in the Watch Our Realms, and it's the Phantasmal Nightmare has just dropped on the Forerunner server. So have a quick look at that, see how it works, see the concept of it. Now, if you've been unlucky enough to pull an Ingrid, then this bit of content is really good for you because she's absolutely top draw here. So you've finally got somewhere to use her, so that's a bonus. But we'll also have a look at some other champions as well that are usable if you've been lucky enough to dodge that bullet and not get an Ingrid. So we'll have a look at that as well. Right, this is the new boss Phantasmal Nightmare, and it sort of comes in two phases. You've got the first phase where you've got the Conqueror, and then you've got the next phase where you've got the Lord of Styx. They have changed the map, so that's the biggest change in it really, and they run one straight after the other. So once you've done the Conqueror, you then move on to the Lord of Styx, and the Lord of Styx fight runs as it normally would. The Conqueror has a certain amount of health, so it's to get his health bar down. Once you've defeated him, you then move on to the Lord of Styx. So that's sort of how it runs. Now, let's go and have a look here. So this is now the platform of it. You see that the Lord of Styx, the Conqueror is up there in the middle, and then you've got some platform bases you can use as well as some ground units. So that's quite a mix up for it as well. So that's the first thing to note, that we can now use platforms, units, which is handy because you'll need quite a few of them to go forward for the Lord of Styx phase, and he's got a certain amount of health, so when you've got his health down, you then build it up. So unlike on Gear A2, you've got two walls at the bottom here, and those walls have a certain amount of health. When the walls are depleted of their health, then the mobs charge through, and it finishes there for you. So as long as you keep the walls up and you do enough damage to the mobs, because when the mobs die, he shares their health with the mobs and you can't deal damage to him. So once you kill the mobs, then that's it really. It takes damage off him, and then once you kill enough of them against the walls, then he will die, and then you'll go on to the Lord of Styx phase. So that's about it really. There's the Lord of Styx there. Right, so let's go and have a quick look at some options. So if you just do the Conqueror, then you'll probably get around rank B. If you want to go any further than that, then what you realistically have to do is get enough people together to do Lord of Styx. I'll move myself out of the way a bit. Right, so you've got two teams that you can use, and they've done them as a 4 and a 3 split, which is quite good. So it gives you a bit of leeway on getting your lords in there as well, depending on who you want to use. So that's quite nice to see, and it also gives you a bit of slack for who you want to put down and things like that. So you can put down a total of 6 heroes on each phase. So you can build a sort of Lord of Styx group. I can't entirely. If you've got Ingrid, I think you're much better off because of the AoE you need in phase 1. So if you've got a champion that can do really good AoE in phase 1, that's brilliant. And then if they could swap over to single target come the second part, well, that would be awesome. That's the ideal. Unfortunately, there is only Ingrid that does that, so that's why she's so good. If you're failing to do that, then what you need is you probably need sort of 2 AoE champions, which means you then got to take an AoE champion into the Lord of Styx, which doesn't work so well for you. So that's where the issue comes at the moment. I'm sort of just playing around with some various champions. So let's get rid of you and put you in. Both these AoE champions here, Nyx, Delina, very, very good. I mean, absolutely top draw. We'll see her in action in a minute. Let's go through it now, actually. So we'll start chucking them down now. She can take care of one side all by herself, pretty much. She's absolutely awesome at this. Okay. So that's the warm-up of the fight there. And then place her down there, and then she will take care of this side in her entirety for you. Now, if you can get enough single target damage together to take care of the other side, that would be absolutely brilliant, but we sort of seem to run out of it and we don't do particularly well, to be brutally honest. So that's more or less the issue I have going forward. So the other thing to bear in mind is you've got these 2 spots in the middle. They're ground-based units as well. All right, hang on 2 seconds. Let's just get this going. Right, so you've got the 2 spots in the middle as well. You can put ground-based units on there as well. So if, for example, when her woodland elf comes along, you can actually place that down, so that's handy in there. And then if you want to place down, for example, I placed down a Constance earlier. Constance fits very well in there to actually boost up your team. So she gives the healing and she gives the inspiration buff as well. If you want to put down a Dolores in there, that would work very well for you. So in the middle, then you can effectively get everyone on both sides for you. So that's an option that we're still playing around with at the moment. I just want to get this out as a rough guide. Now, once you've got everyone going, I mean, don't think your platform-based units aren't going to take damage, because as we can see, they've got the little circles around them where they bring the mobs down with the sand that does around them to do sort of AoE damage. So people are taking damage. You can't just put the platform-based units up there and go, well, actually, I don't need to heal any of them, because they will be taking damage. So bear that in mind. It's not a massive amount of damage, but you do need some form of healing, whether you're using a Volker on them or whether you're going to be using like Nyx has got that healing mechanic for on the artifact, so that's a win for her. Now that is one of the options she's got available, and very much you just want to sort of get your walls your boss down in time with how you're getting the walls down. That is pretty much it. Now, so your issue is going to be is you've got single target damage and you really need to be doing AoE target damage. This is where it would come in very helpful to have your Ingrid, because you'd have your Ingrid on one side doing the AoE damage and another AoE person on the other side doing AoE damage as well, and then that would blow up the boss much quicker. The other thing is you've got this buff here as well. Special enhancement for Immortal Codex grants attack speed and damage increase buffs at the start of the game for 6 minutes. The buffs disappear when the effect duration ends, can last through to the Lord of Styx phase. So if you get this done within the 6 minutes, then you're absolutely laughing, because you'll take that forward to the Lord of Styx phase. But your issue is, what you want is you want nothing to do you want damage on your Lord of Styx phase, because that's where you're going to sort of start building up your key or your ranking. So you'll get up to B just by doing the Conqueror phase, but to get past B, then that's where you're going to start to come into your Lord of Styx phase. So there we are. This has taken us through. Hopefully we should get the boss down. There's the boss down now. Now, another thing to bear in mind quickly before we transfer over is someone dies here, then that redeployment time carries over. So if you have someone who's just died right at the start or right at the end of your Conqueror fight, then they are going to be dead for the duration of this as well. There we go. Right, that should do it. And then the shield starts off very easy for us, but then it does ramp up very quickly. And then we're back to the same normal sort of timings of our Lord of Styx as we know it works. There's a timer going down over there. We can see it coming down for us, and then he does a shield up. So that's the normal sort of timing prospects for us. There we go. Fire off the ultimates. Then once the ultimates are done, we can then use the rage regen to get one back up. I mean, it's fairly normal Lord of Styx fight you get onto. It's just how many people you can get onto the Lord of Styx, having to with the fact that you have to have your AoE ready to go on the previous round. So that's the issue you've got. Just press pause and get me out of the way a little bit more. There we go. And that's pretty much it. If I can find a decent single target team that can take down one of the sides beforehand, I think you're going to be doing a lot better. But oops. Getting stuff while we're talking. Get this down. Yeah, there we go. Right. And we'll wait for Setran to be ready, and we'll boost that again. So there we go. We're getting around to A+. Now the other thing to notice is the fact that both the Lord of Styx and the Conqueror are more susceptible to physical damage than anything else. So do bear that in mind when you're sorting out your teams. We're going to get this down. I don't think so. I think this is a wipe here. There we go. That's that done. Right. So there you go. That's the rough concept of the fight. That's how it realistically works. I hope this has helped you out and a little look into it. At the moment, there's a lot of Ingrid and Pope teams running because she's going to be so good to be actually able to take do the AoE damage on one side and then swap to being a single target. Whereas if you haven't, you then need to take 2 AoE champions. At the moment I'm taking 2 AoE champions, one to do the right hand side, one to over on the left hand side, and then I'm having to have my team going forward on the Lord of Styx phase where I don't want AoE damage. I'm then starting to have to take at least one person who's got AoE damage on them, which is a bit of a shame. So if you've got an Ingrid, then you're doing the AoE on one side, and then when you get onto the Lord of Styx phase, you'll just swap her over. So that's how that will work for you. Hopefully this has helped you out and it's been a bit of an insight for you. I'm going to keep messing around with some teams, see if we can get something decent out, and I'll see you again in a video soon. But absolutely, she on the far right there is top draw, just sorts out one side for you entirely. If you haven't got Ingrid, make sure you've got, if you haven't got her as well, then I would say probably Nyx, and then, oh blimey, you're really going to start struggling for someone to sort of solo that right hand side for you, okay? But if you've got a Nyx, particularly if you've got your Nyx up and running on some of the Awakenings, then I think she's going to be absolutely brilliant for this. Right, anyway, that would do me. I'm going to go play around with some more teams and things like that, and we've got a lot of running to do on Hero 3 to try and if we can find out where the ancient pity lies. Okay, right, thank you very much for your time. Please give me the old thumbs up, like and subscribe, and I'll see you again in a video again soon. Cheers, goodbye.